Hi, welcome to the second lecture of Rethink Artificial Intelligence, where we teach you artificial intelligence in a step-by-step method. I am Jadi Parasar, the director founder of Rethink Artificial Intelligence Innovation and Research Private Limited. And we are working with a mission of pioneering AI future, where we will integrate AI and our passion to work for humanity. So I hope so far you have watched the first lecture where I have talked about the broad term artificial intelligence. Today we will see, or today we will learn the different terms and their meaning, which we use repeatedly in artificial intelligence. So let's jump into our presentation and let me share my presentation now with you. So welcome again. This is second lecture where we are going to talk about important AI terms, their meanings, and how these things are relevant or connected with each other. So let's jump into welcome objective. We will discuss called terminology. You can say today we are going to discuss AI vocabulary. Every field, every domain, every industry has its own vocabulary, like rich people, rich luxury, technology, fashion industry, sports, medical science. They all have their own terms, and we can say it's their own vocabulary. So when we try to understand any subject, these important terms play the role of foundation. Until you are going to understand these terms, their meaning, why these terms are important, why these things matter, you will not be able to understand artificial intelligence. What is happening outside is everyone who is talking about artificial intelligence or want to teach artificial intelligence or working in the field of artificial intelligence, they are not talking about these broad terms. So here we are going to talk about these broad terms. In this lecture, we will cover a few important AI vocab. And then in next lecture and the coming lectures, we will cover more AI terms. So here are our first AI term of the day, which is artificial intelligence itself. So what is artificial intelligence? AI refers to the simulation of human intelligence by machines. It's like there is a machine which can represent the intelligence of a human being. Okay, we will call that. Okay, I missed the recording of my face. Okay, it's still okay. Now I'm live. What is artificial? Let me repeat again. What is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is when a machine, it can be computer, it can be robots, it can be chatbot. When they represent human-like intelligence, they can solve the problems, they can resolve the issue. Then we will say, okay, this is artificial intelligence. One relevant reference is, let's say there is a strong AI tool which has the capabilities of doing reasoning, learning, and problem solving like a human being. Then we will say this is artificial intelligence. Second is machine learning. What is machine learning? There is a difference between artificial intelligence and machine learning. These two terms are totally different. AI is when you represent human level intelligence, while machine learning is when a machine start learning, then we call it's a machine learning. The machine is learning. Okay. Machine by learning all these things, machine actually improve its performance. So here let me show you something. Let's say this is a computer. This is a man working with a computer or on a computer. Okay, so this computer represent almost equal to human level capabilities. Then we call it's artificial intelligence. While The computer is simultaneously learning more ideas with the help of the data. Then this computer is machine learning. This is the difference between two things. You are teaching something to a machine, it's machine learning. But this machine has developed to such a level where it can represent human intelligence. Then we will say, okay, this is artificial intelligence. So I would like to draw a diagram here. My drawing is not perfect, but thanks to the tools they are making, it's really easy for me. This is, let's say this is AI. So the most common question is, what is the connection between AI and ML? If they both are machine or learning, then what is the connection? AI is a very broad term, while ML is just a subset of it. AI is the broad term, then comes the ML. I hope you have understood it. Now let's move to the next slide. This slide is, okay, why I am unable to move my cursor. Yeah, now we are back, and these tools are literally complicated. Until you figure it out, all the tools, it's tough. Now let's focus on deep learning and neural network. What is deep learning and what is neural network? Deep learning is, move again. Okay, what is deep learning? Deep learning is, it's a subset of specialized form of machine learning. Okay, where we use neural networks. What is neural networks? Human brain has different cells, and these cells are connected with each other with the help of neurons. That's why we call it neural structure. Okay, when we form a neural network, like these are the proper dots. Let's say these are our cells, and these cells have different way of connection. Both this figure represents the neural connection. Okay, and when you use these kinds of structures, when you use these kinds of structure, then we call it's deep learning. So let me draw our original diagram again. This is our AI, this is ML, and this is deep learning. You can say deep learning is a subset of machine learning, and learning is a subset of AI. Okay, that's how you see it. Deep learning. Okay, let me rub it and let me design again. And this time, let me design in a different form. Let's say this is AI. And this second circle is machine learning. And then comes the next, which is deep learning. Deep learning is the innermost section. What is the difference between machine learning and deep learning? In machine learning, you use neural network. I hope you have understood it well. Okay, so why do we need all these form of learning like deep learning? Deep learning is, it's help machines to recognize image, speech, and text at a higher level. Machine is just learning, but how machine is going to differentiate between image and text and, different form of input. So it does with the help of deep learning. Okay, and what is neural network? What is the logic behind neural network? It is used in tasks like image recognition, language translation. I hope now it's totally clear to you. Now let's move to the next slide, which is data training and data set. What is data training? Let's say, and what is data set? Let's first go with data set. What is data set? Let's say you are working in ABC company, and every week you collect, it's literally GBs of data. This is your data set. This data set belongs to your company. Okay, when you make the Excel file, these are data, but these are not data set, because this is very limited data. Like you have one Excel sheet or two Excel sheets. It's not. It's just a limited data. I'm talking about the big data centers, like Apple has its own data center, YouTube has its own data center, Amazon has its own data center, Google has data centers, right? So what these, even the Tesla capture all the data set. Okay, I'm going to tell you everything how these things work. So these are the big data sets. You can say this is your data set. For a reference example, when you are going to use this data set to train the machine or to train the AI, then we will say it's data training. Data set is collection of data, while data training is training the machine on the basis of this data set. That's why we call it data training. And everything's work on these days work on data training. So here are two important things which you should learn and remember forever. One is quality of data is critical for AI success. It's not that every data set is important. No, if let's say there is one data set which has 50% fake data or 50% misinformation, then this data set is not that relevant. However, there is another data set which is 100% relevant, 100% transparent. This data set is very important. Next, the key idea behind data training is the more you train your AI, the more you train your data, the better will be your AI performance. Okay, so this is the difference between data set and data training. Just remember, if someone asks you what is the key difference, data set, when we have 100% transparent and accurate data, this is called quality data. And when it comes to data training, when the more you train your AI, the better will be your AI training, the better will be the performance. Now let's move to the next slide, which is very important. These are the four most important pillars of AI vocabulary. One is algorithm. What is algorithm? Algorithm is basically a set of instructions where you make a proper code, that this is the first step, this is the second step, this is the third step, and you make the step by step instruction set to solve any particular problem, like Tesla, driverless cars, or drones, or ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot. All these are algorithms. What we see is we see the end product, but behind the scene there are set of instructions which work continuously. Okay, so in this case, you can say this is our algorithm where we have defined particular instructions. If this happens, go to this node. If this happens, go to this node. This is the easiest example of a data set. I was trying to find the most easiest example, and I can't think anything can be better than this data set. This relevant example of algorithm. Okay, the backbone of AI system is algorithm. That's it. Whatever you see these days, whether it's Netflix giving you the recommendation on the basis of your preferences, or Amazon gives you the recommendation of buying products based on your past buying behaviors, it's on the basis of algorithm. Next is model. What is model? Whatever you see the end product, whether it's Tesla driverless cars or the drones, everything is a model. Whatever we are learning so far, whether it's collection of data sets, training of data, or making algorithm, or machine learnings, whatever we were doing to combine them to make a model. The model is the final program created after training. Like ChatGPT, it's the model. Gemini is the model. Copilot is the model. Perplexity is the model. Okay, all these are model which show you the final output, or which is the final output after doing all whatever we have discussed so far. Next, what is supervised learning? Supervised learning is when you create a data set, particular data set, which is labeled data set, where you have customized everything in a proper structure. Like, take example of your Excel sheet. If you create an Excel sheet with proper headers, like this is serial numbers, these are the names, these are the project completed by this particular person, these are the project under the process, then this is labeled data. And when you use these labeled data for any type of training, it's called the supervised learning. Okay, this is the example of supervised learning. Here we have both x and y axis here, and we have created our data set in a proper structure. Like, let's say we make an Excel sheet, like here 1, 2, 3. I'm just taking a small number. These are the names, the project completed, and success rate. If you define the every particular thing in your data set, this is called labeled data. Why you jumbled up everything in an improper structure? It's called unlabeled data set. Okay, and when you use unlabeled data set, it's called unsupervised learning. So let me repeat again. This is algorithm, a simplest form of a set of instruction. This is a model. Here, a robot, you can see a robot is working. This is the final output. Robot needs, IoT, robot needs algorithm, robots need, everything, including circuits and batteries, everything. So this is our final model. This is the example of supervised learning. This is the example of unsupervised learning. I hope you have noted down everything. Now let's move to the next slide. Okay, now let's talk about what is reinforcement learning and what is natural language processing and why these are important. Reinforcement learning is when you learn by trial and error. When we were kids, right, we started experimenting with many things when we were kids. Like, I'm talking about 1-year-old. We started walking, then sometime we were jumping out of the bed, sometime we were running into the walls, and then we started learning by making mistakes. It was painful experiences, but we learned. This is called reinforced learning. You take the first step, then you get the feedback, you reuse that feedback to become better and better and better. Okay, that's called reinforcement learning. The best example is chess. So what these games does, they make the move, okay, and then they learn the lesson. Then they make the next move, then they learn the lesson, and then they keep improving themselves. This is called reinforced learning. Then natural language processing. What is natural language processing and why we need it? And why we need reinforcement learning? We need reinforcement learning. Why we need we need reinforcement learning for one reason, so that we can make our AI or our model better with every step. If you are not improving your model, if you are not improving your robots, they are not going to grow. Technology is not going to grow. So just to make sure your model can become better, we use reinforced learning. And why we need natural language processing? This is I'm a human being. Okay, and on the other hand, there is a machine. What should be the way of communication between two? That's why we need natural language processing. Natural language processing, it's enabling machines to understand and interact in a human language. I said something, and then machine is going to understand it, and then machine is going to create the answer for it. That's natural language processing. Okay. So ChatGPT or Google Translate are the best example. Yeah, ChatGPT is you type something. ChatGPT understands it with the help of natural language processing. Then you write something. Then ChatGPT writes something and you understand it. This is again the example of natural language processing. Okay, where is my pen? Here is my pen. This is, let's say, this is human being. A is human being. And this is machine. So if A is human being and B is machine, then this particular portion, you can say, is natural language processing, which help in the better interaction between both. If human being is saying something, this natural language processing is going to process it. Machine is going to understand it. Machine is replying something. Natural language processing will help human being to understand it. That's how it's work. If you have any question, you can reach out to me via comment section or through LinkedIn. I will be more than happy to help you. Now let's talk about the next set of definitions. First is, what is computer vision? Computer vision is, let's say there is a natural language processing and computer is going to understand it. But what about, enabling the machines to understand or interpret the images, okay, or the visual information. Let's say I have given this visual information. It's just an image and I ask AI to, okay, tell me what it is. So how AI is going to understand? That's called computer vision. It's like, the best example is facial recognition. In many countries, if you're watching from US or Europe, you can see there are already devices which do the facial recognition, specifically at airports. Okay, these cameras are working all the time, and then they keep scanning the faces. Okay, and then they keep creating the data set. This is with the help of computer vision. Okay, next is robotics. Robotics is just a combination of algorithm, you can say model, circuits, power, and the necessary body structure. Or the best example is Iron Man. Iron Man was a robot. Okay, yeah, I'm not saying the exact person was robot, but I'm saying it's an example of a robotics. If you are going to fit the machine instead of the Tony Stark, then it will be a robot. But in the Hollywood movie, the Iron Man, they have taken the concept to the next level, where a human being can have the robotics arms and structures. So you can say it's semi-robotics, or you can say it's humanoid, human plus robot combined. But here we are talking about pure robotics, where you can say it's made up of the machine itself only. And here is one example of this robot. I really like this concept because when I was in final year of my graduation, my final project was based on this concept. Okay, it was in 2012, so it was just 12 years back. And this robotics has, our project had, 4 wheels, and I was able to let this wheel travel with the help of my phone. So it was a robot, a simple robot, but I can control it with the help of my mobile, and it had a basic feature. Okay, so this was my project. So when I was designing this presentation, when I was working with the team to make this presentation, I used this robot. Next, what is big data? Big data is a collection of data, and I'm not talking about one Excel file. I'm not talking about 1 GB of data. It's TBs of data. Okay, that's the data set. And every large data set help in computation or analyzing the pattern. That's why data sets are very important. Okay, data set, we need data set for the decision making. The better your data is, the better will be your decision making, or better will be your AI model. Next, What is cloud computing? Whatever you are seeing right now is cloud computing. Okay. These are the file which are in my computer. I am sending these files to the internet, and they are going to be stored somewhere in internet. Then we can say this is cloud computing. Like when I'm recording this lecture is in my computer, and soon I'm going to upload it on YouTube. Then it's the example of cloud computing. Next is bias in AI. What is bias in AI? A bias in AI is when you get unfair outcome, or uh, misleading information. Sometimes when you check ChatGPT, sometimes you see the instruction at the bottom that ChatGPT can make mistakes. Okay, so always check the output. Okay, so how bias happens in AI? If your data is biased, or if your data is not up to that quality, then you can get the biased answer. Whatever Google faced, in recent time, with the launching of Gemini, or the entire controversy, it was because of the bias in data. First of all, let me tell you something. If you think Google has biased in data, Google doesn't have biased in data. What are the problem with the Google? Google has literally huge number of set of instructions. Okay, the data is pure, but there have been, they were applying data set or instructions after instructions due to the rules and regulations and law enforcement agencies. So these instructions are causing the problem for Google Gemini. So if they want to make it totally relevant or totally fair, then they should remove all those instruction sets. Let me show you how it works. Let's say this is this is little bit technical part. I hope you will be able to understand it. I will use easy language. Let's say there is a different data set with the Google, but you use different instructions like if loop. If this happens, then execute this. Else execute this. Else execute this. Else execute this. Else execute this. So Google has lots of instructions with every step. And these instruction sets are causing the problem for Google. Because when they were earlier, they were a search engine only. Okay, so they created all these layers of instructions to control the data. And now the same data, they are using the same data to train Gemini. That's why they are facing the problems regularly. So what is the solution for Google? The solution for Google is make your data without all these if loops or if and else loop, so that your data will be totally relevant to today's age. One example is when Gemini was launched and people were asking Gemini's different examples, different questions like show the image of judges, or show the image of this particular thing or that particular thing, and it was showing the complete wrong information. So it happened because of the loop conditioning. I'm like, this is a small show. This is a small lecture. I don't think Sundar Pichai is going to watch, but if he is watching, please work on your, data set, the conditioning of the data set. It will solve your maximum problems. Okay, what is ethics in AI? Ethics in AI is we will keep our data or work totally transparent. That's an ethics in AI. Like this is you should create a set of guidelines where you keep everything fair and transparent. So if I have to use this, let's say here I am going to put fairness, here I am going to put transparency, then this is the balance of ethics in AI. And when it comes to bias is when you use a set of data and then you use like conditioning to create another set of data out of the original set of data, then bias can happen. And this is the example of cloud computing. Now let's move to the next slide. What are our key takeaways? Our key takeaways is first of all, learn all these vocab terms by heart. AI, ML, deep learning, neural network, dataset algorithm. These learn all these AI terms by heart. Make your own notes. I'm a researcher by profession. I have read more than 1,000 books in last 15, 16 years. Okay, I have read lots of research papers or articles, and one of the most important part of my journey is making regular notes. You will never see me without any journal, pen, or or some form of learning materials. If you want to make your career in AI, start making your own notes. This is the best and the easiest time to become successful. Yeah, this is the easiest time to become successful because everyone else outside is busy in chasing the noise. Everyone is outside and chasing the noise or one next viral trend. While I'm busy building this company, while I'm sitting in my library continuously and I'm working. This is the easiest time in the entire history to become successful. Just do the foundational thing and you will be successful. Okay, why these terms matter? Because these terms are the foundation of AI. So learn all these terms by heart. If you are unable to understand anything, you can reach out to me anytime. What next? In next lecture, we will come up with more AI terms, and then we will talk their applications as well across industries. And if you are really enthusiastic about it, then find some real examples where you can use this lecture. With this, thank you. This lecture is brought by Rethink AI. If you have any question, you can reach out to my team. And thank you so much thank you for watching. This lecture is prepared by Rethink AI, presented by Jaideep Paras and me. And this lecture has been designed by our marketing partner, Vista Operator. Rethink AI help you pioneer your AI future. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next lecture.